we barely had time to digest the Nikon Z6 Mark III announcement from yesterday, with the Canon EOS R1 already back in the news. You see, last month Canon delivered a development announcement for the Canon EOS R1, and according to a trusted source, the R1 will be announced very soon. Well, we were told that there is a big Canon meeting in Canada on July the 4th, and it's happening with retailers. And that meeting with retailers, it's about getting them to sign NDAs, or non-disclosure agreements. And why would Canon want their retailers to sign NDAs? Well, for a very simple reason. They're getting ready to announce the Canon EOS R1. Now, this might also be related to the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, but more on that camera later. So what does this mean in terms of an announcement date? Well, I've talked to Canon Rumors, well, not Canon Rumors, Craig Blair, the owner and editorial director of Canon Rumors a long time ago, and one thing he told me is to look out for is, well, any not retailer, but camera manufacturer getting retailers to sign NDAs, because once they sign NDAs, then we are imminent very, very soon for an announcement, and that usually happens within 1 to 3 weeks, usually around 2 weeks, and the reason for that is it gives retailers enough time to order inventory, get up to speed on these cameras, find placement for them in inventory in the warehouse and of course in retail stores, and provide retail stores with the necessary, I guess, marketing stuff, stuff that's sent from Canon, but also stuff they will print up themselves, deals that they'll have, get advertisements in place, all that wonderful stuff. So what specific date would we get for this announcement? Well, we're not 100% sure, but let's do a little bit of analysis. Taking a look at the calendar here, we can see that the highest probability for an announcement would be July the 9th, 10th, and 11th, and that's a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Or it could be the following week on the 16th, 17th, and 18th. I don't think Canon's as bold as Nikon to go ahead and hold it on a Monday or a Friday, but yeah, the Nikon Z6 Mark III was announced on Monday, June the 17th, yesterday, and it completely surprised all of us. But we definitely expect Canon from previous history to announce on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. The only reason they might do a Monday, and if they did a Monday, it would likely be at the end of the day Eastern Standard Time, like midnight, which is technically Tuesday. And yes, we have seen Canon do this in the past. They could announce it in Australia or Japan and do it at around midnight Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight Time. It's certainly plausible. It's certainly possible. And they have done it. They did that with the Canon RF 200 to 800 millimeter, and I think the R6 Mark II as well. So the R5, the R1, would they announce it on an Asian schedule or a North American schedule? Well, we don't know. But if we look at history, the R6, the R5, they were announced at around 10 a.m. Eastern, I think, Daylight Time, Eastern Daylight Time. Yes, it was in July, and that was 4 years ago by Canon USA. But my source also said that in addition to the announcement being very close, my source was told that retailers or Canon will be ready for our deposits, and I quote, very soon. And what's really significant here is this kind of goes against what previous sources had said. Sources of this channel, sources of Canon Rumors, and anybody else talking about timelines. Now, previously, my reliable source had said that we would get a July announcement of the R1 and the R5, but said that as far as availability for the R1, that would happen sometime at the end of summer, and that the R5 Mark II, well, it would start shipping in August. So if we are giving our money for pre-order for the R1 at the same time as the announcement, so let's just assume it's the middle of July, let's just say July the 15th. How long would we have to wait before it starts shipping? Well, Canon generally makes us wait anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 weeks for new gear. The R5, it was, well, about 3 weeks. It was announced on July the 9th or July the 10th. I can't remember the specific date, but it was one of those two, and it started shipping on July the 30th. Now, the 200 to 800 millimeter, well, that was announced on November the 2nd and shipped to my door, or at least started shipping on December the 14th, so closer to 6 weeks. We just don't know at this point, but my source did say that, yeah, they would start taking our deposits very soon, accepting pre-orders. So it sounds like this whole idea that we might have to wait till the end of summer might not be true. But what about the Canon EOS R5 Mark II? Yeah, I know. I know, Mark. I got this. Mark's really excited over the Nikon Z6 Mark III announcement that we had earlier this morning, and yes, I'm recording this on the same day as the Nikon Z6 announcement, but I'm saving this for, well, you're watching this on Tuesday because I've got a lot of construction going on outside and nobody else has this information right now. So in between breaks of when they're not moving heavy gear between the two houses, I am recording videos. So back to the R5 Mark II. Despite all the talk about the Canon EOS R1 being the master of everything, jack of all trades, the flagship mirrorless camera, it's not. I mean, it isn't really. I mean, the Canon EOS R5, the 5 series, is really the master of everything, the jack of all trades. It can do wildlife, it can do fashion, it can do fast action, it can do video, it can do stills, it can do 8K, it can do 4K, it can do everything. And yes, the R1 is dedicated as a sports and fast action shooter for people that are perfectly happy with the dynamics you get with a 24 megapixel stacked sensor, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the R5 is, even from Canon's point of view, it's their moneymaker. It is the one product that they're going to announce this year that by far is going to provide them with the greatest amount of cash flow and profitability. It's the big one. And according to previous sources on this channel, and now Canon Rumors is saying the same thing too, the Canon EOS R5 Mark II is going to be announced in July, and it's going to start shipping in August. But the real question is, and this is what I kind of hinted at earlier in the video, well, this video first seems like it's about the Canon EOS R1. It really isn't. So one thing I know for sure from my trusted source is that we have dealer meetings about signing NDAs on July the 4th in Canada, not in the United States because it's a national holiday, and that follows July the 1st in Canada, which is a national holiday. So the fact that they're meeting on July the 4th in Canada tells us that Canon's getting the let out that they want to announce very soon these new cameras. And the source was talking about the R1. The source didn't provide me with any information about the R5 Mark II. So the question I have to you, and I'm going to answer this in my own forecast and my analysis, do you think that Canon could announce both cameras at the same time or step them by a week? Well, if we go back to 2020 when the R5 was announced, the Mark I, it was announced alongside the Canon EOS R6. And I know what Mark is thinking because his face is all kind of scrunched up right now. And he's thinking, well, yes, but that was a different time. It was a very different time. I mean, we were all working from home and all sorts of things were happening. And so it made sense to put everything together in one announcement. The R5 Mark II to me is the biggest camera of all, but the R1 does have a time constraint because on July the 26th, that's when the Paris Olympics start, the Summer Olympics. So the Canon EOS R1, getting that one ready and out the door sooner than expected is really, really important. The R5 Mark II, if Canon waits another couple of weeks, or a week, or even into August, is no big deal. So at this point, it's hard to say. We do know that we're getting an announcement. We're going to follow this very closely, and as soon as I know an announcement, I'm going to schedule a live stream and cover it like I did with the Nikon Z6 Mark III yesterday, or this morning, my time, because for me it's still Monday. And that was a really great live stream. I had 2 guests on. We're all part-time photographers and videographers, hobbyists. One of my first guests, Jack, was or is a professor at one of the universities in Australia. And the other gentleman, Jim, is a cybersecurity expert. It was just 2 guests, but then at 8 o'clock, Nikon Canada was bold and they showed up and participated in our stream, fielding questions, and they were terrific. Big thanks to Chris for attending this channel. The only question I have is Canon bold enough, Canon Canada or Canon USA, bold enough to join my channel to field your questions on a live stream? Or is Canon a bit too conservative and stuck in the past where they don't associate with rumor channels? But I think if there is a scheduled announcement, which I really do expect, whether we're given 3 days, a week, or 2 weeks ahead of the announcement, there's a chance that I could get Canon USA or Canon Canada on this channel. I'm doing my best to try and do so. And maybe if you can reach out, send your feedback and saying, hey, you should attend Simon's live stream, I'd be greatly appreciated. But now I do want to address something that's very, very important to us camera consumers and hobbyists, and that's FOMO. It's the fear of missing out. The Canon EOS R5 Mark II, I have no idea, I have no doubt that it's going to be best in class, just like the Nikon Z6 Mark III is now best in class, looking at the R6 Mark II and the A7 IV. From what I've heard about the R5 Mark II's capabilities, It's going to be bold in terms of video specs and in terms of stills capabilities. I'm really looking forward to this camera. I'm looking forward to purchasing it. But the Mark I, which was announced 4 years ago, for many of us, it's still a very powerful camera. 8K video, all eye and raw IPB. And as a stills camera, 12 frames per second and 20 frames per second, mechanical and electronic, CF Express Type B and UHS-2 card slots, it's a very, very powerful camera. So when you see this price here of $1,000 off its release price at $28.99, it's a bargain. And the Canon EOS R3, which was really a de facto stand-in for the Canon EOS R1, released at $59.99, is now $44.99 at Adorama. But at B&H, if you click on that little send me an email link, you can actually purchase the R1 for $39.99. I'm not going to tell you what to purchase because obviously you know better what kind of value you want to get out of your camera. All these capabilities we talk about are potential, but for your business or just for your pure enjoyment, it's the value that determines how we use these cameras and the end result of our workflow. And if you do happen to purchase the Canon EOS R5, there's about 20 or 30 cameras on sale right now and a bunch of pre-orders. I've got them all in the links down below. There's an awful lot of stuff. And I've also got the smart pre-order links for the Canon EOS R5 and the Canon EOS R1. And the reason why I have these smart pre-order links is quite often, as we saw with the Nikon Z6 Mark III, Nikon released 2 SKUs, body alone and with a kit lens. So whenever it comes to that pre-order, we all know that the R5 Mark II is going to sell out. The R6 Mark III sold out within 14 minutes. 14 minutes. That didn't take long. I expect the R5 Mark II will sell out even quicker than that. So if you're on the fence, pre-order it and just pay attention to the shipping date. And in the meantime, you can hem and haw and decide if it's right for you or not. If it is, great, you're already in the queue. And if not, no worries, you can cancel. Where the smart pre-order links come in is it's going to list off every single kit package available, body alone, kit packages offered by Canon, then any kit packages offered by Adorama and B&H. And what that will do is save you anywhere from 5 to 15 seconds, and that will get you further up in the queue, so at least you'll get your camera as part of the first batch. Instead of waiting something like 6 months for the original Canon EOS R5 Mark I, or this guy here, the 200 to 800, people are still waiting for that lens that ordered in early November. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just saying this is one of those things I'm trying to do to help you out. And if you do use my affiliate links or my smart pre-order links, I could earn anywhere from 2 to 12% back. Now, that's in a commission. By using my links, you don't have to punch in any codes, fill out any forms. It takes you directly to those websites. And you'll see it says Howl. That's just a short link. It's actually managed through Howl, but it takes you directly to Adorama. And I want to say a big thanks to everybody that pre-ordered the Nikon Z6 Mark III, the C400, the RF 35mm f1.4. You've really made a big impact on this channel. And not only does it help continue this channel, but it helps pick up my spirits to get me charging forward and looking forward to the next month and all the work that it entails. Today, Monday, although you're watching this on Tuesday, is my day off. I booked it off work and that comes at a cost. And these pre-order links, well, they make up for that cost, and a big thank you to everybody. But don't forget, you might want to subscribe and choose all notifications to stay up to the latest and greatest, or follow me on X at Filmmaker. But thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patronage, your support, comments, likes, and all. It's very much appreciated. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see each other again soon. Most likely, very soon.